So it has now been 6 months since I did my initial review of this radio, and I thought it might be nice to take a second look at it after 6 months and see what's changed. Just before we get started, I wanted to note that although it says Kaidera up here, it is just the same radio as the Radioddity GD-88. The radio was originally sold by Kaidera, and then Radioddity came and rebranded it and started selling it as the GD-88. So the first item is not something I complained about before, but it is actually something that other people complained about online, which was the lack of DTMF. And I'm pleased to say that they have added DTMF now to the radio, so that is a positive change. They have also added a single VFO mode, which means you don't have to have the screen split into two sections anymore if you don't want to. You can have just one VFO or one channel on the screen, and so it's just a bit neater if you don't want to use two. An issue that I did mention in my previous review was that the minimum volume was too loud, and unfortunately that still seems to be an issue on digital and on analog channels. They did say something in the firmware update changelog about this, but it doesn't really seem to have helped. I'm thinking it's probably a hardware issue at this point because it still hasn't been fixed, and it seems like they've tried to fix it, so I think that's something we're just going to have to live with. They say also that the volume change lag has been improved. I'm struggling to see that. If I show you that here, just look at the green bar at the bottom that should move when I change the volume. So if I change the volume quickly, the bar on the screen doesn't change straight away. It takes quite a while to change after I actually change the volume. So it's not a major thing, but it's just a minor annoyance that it's still there. The menu is still really messy and confusing, which is something I complained about in my initial review of this radio. I don't think realistically that they're ever going to do anything about this, or even change the up and down keys so it is the right way round, because many people who have bought the radio by now probably will have got used to it being the wrong way round. So you press up to go down in the menu. Another issue was with the contacts database, so you can load the entire database of ham contacts who use DMR into this, and it used to show the wrong contact. It would kind of get stuck on the first contact that it came up with. So they have fixed that now, which is good. But sometimes it just fails to show anything when someone transmits. So that is kind of a new issue that I've noticed. I notice in particular it happens if you're on a busy talk group, like talk group 91 on Brandmeister, and lots of people are transmitting within a short time. They seem to have fixed the APRS, which is good, but it only transmits, it cannot receive. So it's just like an APRS beacon really. There's no real receive capability or feature in this radio for APRS. The single frequency repeater hasn't been fixed at all. I made a video about this a while back, and nothing has changed at all since then. So if you want all the details of that, you can go and watch that. Another issue is that you still can't make a new channel from within the radio, at least not that I've been able to see. I've messed about with the radio quite a lot, and I've looked at the manual as well, and I could not see any way to make a new channel. You can save things, like if you're on the VFO, let's imagine I've just programmed a repeater channel. I can go into the menu here, and then I can go save to cell CHN, which is save to selected channel. But all I can do is select an existing channel to save it on top of, so you can't actually make a new channel, which is quite an oversight in my opinion. The battery life of the radio is still very poor. The radio actually gets noticeably warm when it's just sitting there on receive, which is something I've not noticed before on any of my other radios. This just shows how much power it's using up just on receive. So 6 months after my initial review, they are fixing some of the bugs, but they're working so slowly and they keep introducing other bugs. Realistically, I don't think they'll fix them all before they abandon the radio. The volume and battery life issues, I think they're hardware issues, so I don't really think that they can be fixed in firmware updates. So if you've got the radio already, you'll just have to live with those issues, I think. So I don't really recommend this radio to 99% of people, not because it's a terrible radio, it's okay now, it's usable, but purely because there are lots of other models to choose from that do the basics a lot better than this one. The only people who might want this radio are those who really need a radio that can act as a cross-band repeater between FM and DMR, or those who really need a DMR radio that can receive on 2 frequencies simultaneously. But even then, I'd say it would be better to just buy 2 cheaper DMR radios for the price of this one. Everyone else who just wants a DMR radio to chat on a hotspot or on DMR and analog repeaters should just buy something else. There are other radios available that do that stuff a lot better, are much easier to use, and are much cheaper. As usual, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click that thumbs up button for me. I'd really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.